Hey campers, you're listening to another episode of Might Be Sports, only on the Might Be News Network. I'm Chet Myers. Up next, we're talking Bryce Harper and his $330 million contract. Wow, he's the LeBron James of baseball. Speaking of which, King James, not the Hollywood ending he was hoping for in La La Land. All that and more on another episode of Might Be Sports, brought to you by the Crematorium Creamery. Ice cream so good you'll kill yourself. Stay tuned, guys. Might Be Sports up next.
The following is a Just Green production, brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of March 4th, 2019. I am Taylor Cooper, and this is Might Be Sports. With me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What up, Reevy?
Hi.
CJ, what up?
How's it going?
So, week 25 here for Might Be Sports. And
So I got something to say.
you want to start it right off.
I just want to start it right off. Since everybody over the course of last week, or this week and last week, stole sports news, they all had to announce it. So, Taylor, play it.
Hey, did you hear the news?
This better be good.
You want the good news or the bad news?
Give me the good stuff.
Talk about good news. We got Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper.
Oh, my God.
Bryce Harper is a Philadelphia Philly. Now, this is basically a special edition Homer episode of Might Be Sports, as if all the other episodes weren't Homer enough for you. But what does this mean for the Phillies? What does it mean for the future of the Phillies? I have so many questions about this. All positive feelings. I have all positive feelings. I was very annoyed with this situation, as we were talking about last week. And I'm just glad it's over. And even more than that, I'm glad that we got him. The Phillies got him. And it's over. It's over. It's over. He starts Saturday as a designated hitter. I don't even care if he strikes out every time. I don't care right now. I'm glad that Bryce Harper is a Philadelphia Philly, because now I'm more interested in baseball. It's grueling when your team sucks. It sucks when your team sucks for the average fan, right? Not the person who watches it all the time just because they love the game. I love baseball, but as we've said before, it's probably my third favorite sport. Number 3, behind basketball and football.
Well, as Chet Myers, our in-house public address announcer said, he's the LeBron James of baseball.
Yes.
And along those lines, he's the kind of guy, and he got himself in some hot water because he can recruit guys. But you can't be going after, Mike Trout when he's 2 years out of free agency. So he got in a little bit of trouble there kind of recruiting Mike Trout already.
Is the rules the same in baseball as it is for like the NBA? Because recently, as we talked about on the show, LeBron, the Anthony Davis thing, they got in some trouble for tampering or whatever.
Yeah, the only difference
is
is
it
that
the same thing in baseball?
The NBA is so afraid of pissing off the players that they're not going to enforce any of those rules. Where every other league,
I thought LeBron got fined, or no, or did Anthony Davis get fined?
I don't think either one of them got fined.
I don't know.
I mean, I think they came down on Magic Johnson last season, and maybe this season. I'm not sure if he did something else this season.
There's something between him and Ben Simmons.
But when it comes down to players, they just don't want to. They don't want to upset LeBron. He's their guy. But yeah. So Bryce Harper's going to get in a little bit of trouble for that. But that's what he brings this team. He's also a really good player. He might not be as good as Manny Machado, but what he brings to the table is that kind of stuff.
Right.
The intangibles that get you guys like Mike Trout, guys that want to play with Bryce Harper.
Right.
And it's amazing when you hear Bryce talk about how much he wanted to play for Philadelphia, and you realize everything we've been hearing this entire time has pretty much been bogus.
Right.
Because he said himself, he didn't get an offer from Philadelphia until February.
Wow.
He hadn't visited with anybody till after the new year. We were hearing reports saying he was going to make his decision before or just after the new year. He had not met with the team yet.
Right.
How bad is the intel?
Yeah.
Like, are people just making stuff up?
Well,
dude, that's definitely possible, because what else is there to talk about?
Well, two things. So Anthony Davis got fined $50,000 for that
Okay.
whole thing.
That's what I thought. I thought
right,
somebody did.
Yeah, but that's because he specifically,
Requested it.
He requested
He
to
put
be
it out there.
traded.
Right.
And
is
then
against the rules.
also, how bad was the intel that Smash Mouth gave out since they said Bryce Harper was going to San Francisco Giants, I believe?
I heard.
Was-
I heard. a
What
bunch
was
of
their
things.
tweet?
and why not? Because there was so much bad information going everywhere, and maybe it came from his agent. It could have been whatever it is. There's so much bad information, and it was so telling that Bryce said he didn't even meet with a team until after the new year. Didn't meet with the Phillies till February. That tells you that players like him, they're not even interested in signing a contract until way, way late in free agency. That's what Major League Baseball needs to address going forward. Because if the first 3/4 of free agency are meaningless,
Right.
it just drags on and on and on, and it creates months, like
Of just tension.
half a year. Sometimes it gets
Yeah.
right down to the last minute of bogus stories,
Right.
and it's fine if we just know that it's going to be late February or some point around there. Fine. The problem is there's months and months and months of lies.
Right. Or just straight up, at least, the very least, speculation. Pure speculation. Like hearing that he doesn't want to play in Philly. You heard that. Like that was out there that he didn't want to come to Philly. Like he wasn't sure if that was the place he wanted to be, blah, blah, blah.
And then from his
And-
own mouth, that couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
He was looking forward. Even if he's lying to us, you can kind of tell. He was saying, I
All
want
the
to.
right things.
He was kind of arrogant about, like, if you don't want to play here, I don't want you to play with me. Like,
Right.
this is where you win.
Well, and I mean, straight up, even if he didn't feel that way, guess what, dude? You've got a 13-year contract, no opt-out, no trade clause. You're here. Might as well make the best of it. Like,
Right.
and if you're Bryce Harper, you might as well make the ultimate best out of it. I mean, the Phillies made so many powerful moves in this free season or free agency. Real Muto,
Andrew McCutcheon.
McCutcheon. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. Just those three pieces alone, and locking up Aaron Nola.
Gene Segura, the shortstop.
Yep.
Shortstop was a problem for them last year. They got Asdrubal Cabrera, great with the bat, but by far the worst defensive shortstop in baseball.
They improved at first base as well because now Rhys Hoskins is going to be on first base. Correct. That's
Yeah. Which is, and so it's crazy how you make these moves, and just being able to put Rhys back at first base makes him better.
Right.
You assume putting him back at his natural position where he was hitting home runs at an historic pace
Right.
when he first came up.
Right. He was. And I mean, I'm excited to see where the Phillies can go from here. I hope that Gabe is the right call for the manager for this level of talented squad. I think he is. I think that he hopefully learned from some of his missteps last season, but we won't know until it all starts.
I mean, we had Ryan Spader on the podcast many times before, and we wrote a baseball stat book together. We talked with throughout the process of doing the book, we talked with, and I won't mention who the guy is, but a Major League Baseball player who kind of intimated that what Gabe Kapler did last year is a little bit bullshit. Like he tinkers with things a little too much.
Yeah.
And that's part of the learning process.
Right.
Whatever I know, all I know is that you learn the best by failing. He had a lot of failure last year. So I think that could be a good thing. I mean, you can't expect this guy to go into a position at that age. And it's one of those things in baseball that has historically, like Babe Ruth couldn't get a manager position. It's all he wanted. Babe Ruth, the greatest player of all time, couldn't be a manager. He tried and tried, failed. And then, you got Gabe Kapler with no experience at all, just given the job. Because he's got this weird, quirky personality. You think, he's going to really rally the troops. So he's going to fail because he doesn't have the experience. But it's how you learn from that stuff. So I think we're going to see a different guy this year, learn from those mistakes. And also, let's be honest, he's got a lineup that you're just not going to mess with.
Right. That's the other thing. I think that last season there was a lot of leeway for him to make some of the moves that he did, even though some of them obviously didn't work out in his favor. But like a lot of young players, a lot of inexperienced players, a lot of people now are. I play here. Like this is where, like Bryce Harper is where Bryce Harper needs to be. Rhys Hoskins where he is where he needs to be, and so on and so forth. So I think that
all the pieces fit. There were games last year where I was looking at the defensive positioning, and in baseball, how much defense matters is arguable. But when they had like of the 9 guys out there in the field, like 6 were out of position, like at a few games, and I was just marveling at how they just do not give a shit about defense.
Right.
And now that's all changed. Now everybody's kind of in their natural position. And it's good. There might be some guys that aren't great. Like Bryce Harper took a step back defensively, but he's not exactly Pat Burrell out there. I mean, he can move around. He's got some ability. McCutchen, I guess he's going to be playing right field. He's a former center fielder. He might give you some value. He's an older guy, but I think he's still got some maneuverability.
Right.
He's going to be okay in right field. Maybe not as good as Nick Williams would have been, but and then you got Odubel Herrera in center field. And you know what? I want to talk about Odubel a little bit. I was high on him. We had T-Mac on this show, the guy for the Phillies. The
voice of the Phillies.
The voice of the Phillies, the play-by-play guy, T-Mac. And he was high on Odubel Herrera for this year. And this was 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
So because he was in on him, I'm in on him. I trust T-Mac. And then Odubel showed up to camp looking like he's 30 pounds overweight and just pulling hammies left and right. I'm like, this was the guy. T-Mac said he was working out with Miguel Cabrera. Working out on what?
Arm curls.
Yeah, lifting those Big Macs. It's ridiculous. I don't like it. I think he's the same Odubel. I'm worried about him. So I don't know how that's going to work out in center field. Maybe that's like the backup plan. Andrew McCutchen takes over in center. Nick Williams to right. If Odubel has to ride the bench, so be it.
Right.
But we'll see.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm not sure. CJ, can you look up the odds for the Phillies to win the World Series?
All right, play some bets.
No, I'm just curious about it. I'm not going to guess the spread because I have no idea how to guess the spread.
I don't remember what the odds were.
No, but I mean, are we just going to go Delaware Park and just place a bet?
Oh yeah, we could. I mean, the moves that they made absolutely make them contenders for certainly the division.
Yeah,
absolutely the division.
They are the odds-on favorite to win the division, but it's also it's a very tough division.
Right.
I mean, Bryce Harper just left the Nationals, but the Nationals made the first big signing of the year with Patrick Corbin. So they have an ace, quote unquote ace. I don't know how great Patrick Corbin was or the benefactor of kind of a low market for starting pitching. We'll see.
9-1 odds.
That's good, right?
Which I think
I
think that was an improvement on before they signed Bryce.
For
it might have been 12-1.
Okay.
And then if you went before they signed McCutchen, they got Segura, all these guys. We're talking 20-1. So it's been.
Who's the odds-on favorite to win the World Series, CJ?
Wait, don't say it. I'm gonna guess. Shoot. I'll go. Well, it's got to be Red Sox and then Astros. What do you got?
Yeah, I'd say Red Sox.
Yankees.
Yeah, Yankees
Really?
makes sense.
But so our long bets are the Orioles, the Tigers, and the Marlins. 1,000-1.
Wow. I wouldn't take those bets.
It's about $1.
Yeah, for real. Might as well. That's funny. That's a good point. So I don't know. I think that the whole thing's gonna shake out. Now, my next question is, do you think that the Phillies go out and get Mike Trout?
Yeah, I'm pretty
as soon
sure
as
they're
they
gonna. They're gonna.
Yeah, they're definitely getting Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I mean, basically,
Yeah.
because he signed a contract with the Phillies, so I think they're gonna get him.
I'm talking
Like,
about Mike Trout.
they're gonna-
That's what I meant to say.
No, what you're saying is Bryce Harper's in Clearwater. Are the Phillies going to get him and bring him to Philadelphia? I would think. I think so.
He
Because
might end
did
up on that
sign.
plane.
They're not going to leave him in Clearwater. That would be weird.
That would suck.
I mean, that's a good
He
question.
only plays when we play in Miami.
That's a good question, though. I'm glad you asked it. No, I'm pretty sure they're going to bring him to Philadelphia.
Do you think that we're going to get Mike Trout?
I would. Yeah, I told somebody today that I think the odds are in the favor of that because he already did an extension with the Angels, and it's if you look at it like from a basketball sense, when a player gets drafted by a team, like the onus is on the player to do that first contract extension, and then when that's done, the player is like, all right, now it's my time. That's what we're seeing with Anthony Davis.
Right.
Mike Trout did the extension he didn't have to do. And I think when that time is done, he has every right.
Yeah.
He stuck with the Angels when they wasted his talent. So I think for sure he's going to test free agency, whether he goes to the Phillies or not. That's got to be high on his list.
Yeah.
And they're going to go after him so hard.
Yeah.
The difference is, by that time, I think the Yankees will be in. The Red Sox might be in. I got to see what the Mookie Betts contract looks like. He might be up. It seems like he's going to be up around then. That might be tough for them. As far as other big teams, the Yankees have to be in. They weren't really in on Harper or Machado, so I think maybe
They're just kind of biding
they're
their
going to
time.
be interested. But is Trout really going to pick the Yankees over the Phillies? I can't see it.
Yeah.
Because the contracts, they're going to be similar.
Right. Because
I don't see a scenario where he picks a different team unless the Phillies aren't contending. There's so few scenarios. It seems like it can only be the Angels or the Phillies, and he was already loyal to the Angels.
right.
He already did that thing.
Right.
So why would he stick with them? Because he's so in love with the shit they're putting out. They're just not contending.
Right.
So I don't get why he would do that. The only thing that makes sense is the Phillies.
Right.
But the only reason he wouldn't is if the Phillies are not interested.
Or the Yankees just swoop in and drop a
Maybe
money bomb on them.
those two sides switch. Maybe now the Phillies can't afford him, and the Yankees are the ones that are in the Phillies' position this year that can spend stupid money.
Right.
That could be the case. The Phillies are not just going to pay for him because he was born here. So, we'll see. I mean, Mike Trout wants to play in Philadelphia. Philadelphia would want Mike Trout.
So what? Mike Trout only has 1 year left on his thing this year coming up?
No, he's
Or
got 2.
2 more.
Now, that's the thing, too. There's a lot of talk where at the trade deadline, if the Angels are garbage, which they're kind of expected to be, there's a scenario where Mike Trout is going to be on the market. Now, what do you trade for Mike Trout? I don't know if the Phillies have what it takes to get him mid-season.
Right.
After the season, they might be willing to trade like an Aaron Nola, like a great player to get a great player. They're not going to trade Aaron Nola mid-season
Right.
to get Mike Trout.
Right.
So they're at a disadvantage there, but there's a package they can put together. It could be a Nick Williams, a Michael Franco.
But even if he gets
Odubel
traded somewhere else
Herrera.
besides the Phillies, he would still be up in 2 years, right?
Well, yeah, but the expectation once we have him, it's done.
Right. No. I'm saying if he were to get traded to who knows where, Milwaukee.
He's still up in 2 years.
Right.
If he gets traded to Philadelphia, the expectation is he's going to be there for the rest of his career because Philly's not going to let him go.
Right.
But it would be the only scenario I would see was it's kind of like with I think it was the Dodgers that just traded they traded pretty much everything for was it Cabrera? It was with the Marlins. It was a trade Dodgers and Marlins. Might have been Miguel Cabrera. No, it was the shortstop. I can't think of his name. I'm blanking. But anyway, it was a weird trade where they just traded a bunch of veterans, a bunch of big name guys. And that could be what the Phillies do with this. They could trade Franco, Odubel, Nick Williams. Then you throw in some actual, value things, your top prospects. You'd probably have to put an actual decent player in there. But, by that point, who knows what Odubel's going to be doing at this point? At the trade deadline, he might be batting 300. He might be a very talented player at that point. Maybe he's really turned the corner. I don't know.
Right.
But I don't see a package really working out in that regard. And the Phillies right now don't have a ton of great prospects. They gave up a lot in the offseason. So it's going to be hard.
LA Sports Hub is calling for the Angels to offer him $500 million in free agency to keep him.
And you know what? That could be a smart move.
Right.
But imagine you own the team and you have to pay that money. Yeah, you're thinking this is good value. You're throwing that value on one person.
Yeah, you have to have it.
It would be the same
don't
product
know what's
for
gonna
the next
happen for that
13
person,
years,
that
however long they sign
You
it
have
for.
to still fill the seats. If you have
For
one
$500
person,
million.
Yeah, Mike Trout, all his worth and everything, he's not gonna fill your seats if you have to put a whole bunch of jokers around him and not go anywhere.
Certainly not by the end of that contract.
And sit there in last place.
Right.
It's like
That would be garbage.
it's like
Whatever magazine or whatever, that's a stupid idea.
if you're investing in like a property or whatever it is, and people say if you build a roller rink or a bowling alley or a movie theater in this space and you invest $2 million, I promise you have a great chance to make money long term. And you're still sitting there like, I'm going to put $2 million into a roller rink. Like, shit. Like, all right, I'm putting a lot of... You're telling me there's a pretty damn good chance, but it's still a fucking roller rink. And I don't feel great about this. It's $2 million out of my pocket. I got to spend all this money. It doesn't come from nowhere. It's not a guarantee. You build it and people don't come, you're out $2 million.
Right.
If not more.
But you could build a baseball field in the middle of a cornfield, and they'll come.
Well, yeah, but that's science. You could invest $500 million in Mike Trout, but there's an actual person that has to sign that check. And they know that they've had Mike Trout for the past few years and they haven't done a damn thing with him. So to invest that money and not win, yeah, him himself is worth that money. But what's it all worth if you don't win?
Right.
He actually is worth $500 million. He is worth that contract. But if you don't win, you're throwing good money after bad.
All you need is that one kid to wish upon the star for the Angels to win the pennant.
Yeah, nobody's doing it out there. Nobody's doing it.
Again, that's just good science. But there hasn't been Angels in the outfield since 1992?
Yeah, it's been a long time. One more thing before break, non-Philly related. We mentioned before LeBron James. We have a couple more minutes before break. But he's about to surpass Michael Jordan all-time scoring. And obviously I knew that this was coming because
He's not going to pass Will Chamberlain all-time scoring. Am I right, ladies? Anyway, sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Continue. You've heard the rumors.
What rumors?
That Will Chamberlain slept with 10,000 women.
Oh, I did not know that.
You did not know that?
No, I
Him
wasn't
and
in on
Gene
that rumor.
Simmons are right around that number.
Take off
Really?
your 76ers hat right now.
I didn't
you don't
know that.
know that.
I did not know that.
Jeez.
But it's crazy because I don't know, man. I've never been a huge LeBron fan. I got to give him credit, obviously, for doing this. I mean, it's a significant thing. He's got a lot of records. He's obviously one of the all-time greats. But does this make him better than Michael Jordan?
No.
Does this finally put him, or how much closer is he to being better than Michael Jordan because of this? And what would you say would be the thing that makes him better than Michael Jordan? Like, what would it take for you to get there?
A Space Jam reboot?
It's coming in 2021.
I really don't want that.
I don't either, at all.
I don't think he can ever be.
Unless Bill Murray's in it.
He might be.
Bill Murray's got to be in it, right?
I would assume so.
I don't think he could ever be because you have LeBron that's cocky with it, has always said he's the best player, this and that. Jordan kind of deflected the answer and never really was more humble about it.
I mean,
when he was playing.
To just to counter that, though, there was no Facebook or Twitter when Jordan was killing it in the NBA. I don't know. I think that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. And I don't know if that's because I grew up watching him and I was excited for the NBA finals and the NBA playoffs every year because Michael Jordan's going to kill it like every time. Doesn't matter who they're playing. Doesn't matter if he has the flu. It doesn't matter if he's hurt. It doesn't matter if he's getting fouled all night. Like, Michael Jordan's going to go out there and slam dunk, make threes, do everything on the court. And I'm watching highlights from the Lakers game the other night. Shit. I don't remember who they were playing. But they lost. And it was a play where they were on defense. And they showed a highlight of Kyle Kuzma pushing LeBron James into another player just to get him to play defense. LeBron James is in the middle. You're the greatest player in the world. And you're standing alone, all disgruntled. You're trashing these players. You're standing there all by yourself on an island, and your team's losing. You're not playing defense. And this young guy, Kyle Kuzma's got to push you, literally, physically push you to go play defense. Fuck out of here with that shit. It's garbage. Him quitting in the finals in Miami. What was it? The second time they were in the finals? I think it was the second time. And they lost. It was the first time they lost in the finals. And he just gave up. That was garbage. You never see Michael Jordan do something like that.
I just want to say I agree with all of that. And speaking of Bill Murray and only Bill Murray, tomorrow, exactly as actually it's tonight, as you hear this podcast, William Murray Golf drops their new spring collection polos on WilliamMurrayGolf.com. So guys, check that out. WilliamMurrayGolf.com. They pay us nothing. In fact, this is
Kevin pays them thousands.
Literally thousands. Go check it out. The new polos are out. They got the new Masters shirt. Very elegant. Go to WilliamMurrayGolf.com. That's all I got to say about that.
On that note, we'll take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to take a look at the NFL playoff picture. And we're going to talk some Sixers because this is the Homer Hour on the Might Be News Sports. Might Be News Sports. God damn it.
Did you say NFL to begin with?
What did I say?
I think you said NFL playoffs.
NBA playoffs. NBA playoffs. Yeah, we're going to talk about the NFL playoffs next year. We're going to look ahead to the NFL. We got the exclusive scoop.
They were so good, the NFL playoffs this year. We're going to go back and talk about it. We're going to comment on our comments from the NFL playoffs.
We'll be right back. Next week, we got the season finales of Novak and Franz and Might Be Brews. That's right, the season finales. It's been a great first season here at the Might Be News Network. All of us here are super thankful for all the listeners out there. If you're only listening to one show, check the rest out. Something that might be interesting to you. There's tons of them on the Might Be News Network. Go to mbnnetwork.com. It's never been easier for you to find your new favorite podcast. Go there now. Well, not now. After this show. Welcome back to Might Be Sports, week 25. So I want to talk a little bit about the NBA playoff picture.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
All right, this always bothered me. I want to get this off my chest and put it out there.
Uh-oh.
It always bothered me when I had a job in the restaurant business and everybody's getting smoke breaks left and right. Smoke break. It's arbitrary. 10 minutes smoke break here, 5 minutes smoke break there, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I never smoked. I'm working my ass off here. I'm getting no smoke break. Can I get like a juice break?
Should have had a juice break.
I'm just saying, because it's not like exactly like we take a smoke break here on Might Be Sports, but it's, sometimes we'll take a break. Some people smoke, or, just you do your weird thing with is that like a Juul thing? I don't know what it is. Yeah. So you do your smoke break thing. It just made me think, it always pissed me off that it's a benefit for smoking.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah. Well, you can look at it as that you're going to live a longer life.
Can I get a mental, for every smoke break?
Well, remember when Poop started smoking when he worked at DePaco?
Yeah.
So he could get a whole bunch of breaks.
It works out. It does. But anyway.
Just throwing it out there.
The NBA playoff picture.
Back on track.
The Milwaukee Bucks. I'm just going to go Eastern Conference. Milwaukee Bucks, Toronto Raptors, Indiana Pacers, Philadelphia 76ers, Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets, Detroit Pistons, and Charlotte Hornets round out the 8th seed, with Miami being 2.5 games behind them. Or I'm sorry, Miami is tied with Charlotte right now. Let's see, Western Conference, Golden State, Denver, Houston, OKC, Portland, Utah, Clippers, and Spurs. So I obviously the Lakers are 3 games out of the playoffs right now, which we kind of alluded to earlier, that they're not making the playoffs this year by the looks of it. How do you see this shaking out? What do you think? I mean, do you think that I want to talk some Sixers before we get into rapid fire? And so the Sixers have been kind of up and down. They lost to Golden State last weekend. They've been losing some games that they should have won. They've been blowing some big leads, which has me kind of nervous. But I also know that as we're recording, tonight is Embiid's 7th straight missed game which he's supposed to come back Friday, supposedly. And I mean, I know that this team is still kind of learning how to gel and play together. They still have some young talent on there, obviously, that haven't been on the team for very long. So hopefully by playoffs they have kind of a rhythm going, and I'd like to see some momentum being built going into the backstretch of this season. But how do you see this shaking out for the Sixers?
Well, I mean, it's jarring right off the top to hear you say, as you list the teams from top to bottom, and you say the 76ers, and then just two teams below that, the Pistons, the Nets, the Hornets. And it seems like they're close, but I mean, we're talking about, Hornets and Heat team. It's 29 and 34. It's just the way the NBA works now. And it's all incredibly top heavy. So, I mean, they have that going for them. So, in that respect, the huge chasm that exists on the bottom half, I think the top half is so close. And actually, the Sixers have a huge advantage. All everyone's talking about right now is the difference between, as we get closer to the playoffs, the difference between regular season NBA and playoff NBA. It's a totally different thing.
Absolutely. 100%.
So right now, the best team in the Eastern Conference is the Bucks.
Right.
Record-wise. That's not the team that wins in the playoffs.
Correct.
Because they're kind of a one-horse team. It's Greek Freak, Giannis. That doesn't work in the playoffs. I mean, that's why LeBron James kind of created this triple threat thing with the Heat. Once the playoffs hit, you need that. You can't have one guy carry the whole team. And it's not a one guy team. They have some talent, but I mean, let's be real. It's the Greek Freak and that's it. So the Sixers have a little bit of time here to put these pieces together. And they have a few guys that, if you were to offer them contracts right now, if they were all free agents at the end of this season, you'd have what? 3-4 max contract guys? You'd have Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris. I'm thinking Butler, maybe not, but close. That's at least 3 guys, max contracts. You got your big 3 right there. So that's the team built to win in the playoffs. That's the team everyone's afraid of. But they need to climb that ladder. They need to get higher up and get into as close to the first position as they can to give themselves the best chance to win the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of the Sixers stats for this season right now. The leader for points per game is Embiid with 27.3 points per game. Tobias Harris is second. Jimmy Butler is third. Tobias Harris averaging 21 points per game. Jimmy buckets averaging 19 points per game. One of the numbers that strikes me, and we'll get into this a little bit later because, spoiler alert, Tobias Harris is my goat of the week. He's just fucking insane. 42% from threes. I mean, that's absolutely great. Just watching him shoot the ball. He's like, we were just talking about it on break. Silky smooth. He's just so smooth.
Crisp player.
Yeah.
He plays, all aspects of his game are fine-tuned.
Yeah. And he's quick. He hustles. He's entertaining to watch. He's entertaining to hear talk. Like he loves it here. He may just be my favorite new player on the Sixers for sure. But I'm also a huge Jimmy Butler fan. And we were talking a little bit off break about, how some of these extensions and contracts are going to play out. And I can definitely dig the big three aspect where it's Embiid, Simmons, Harris for sure.
That doesn't work with Butler.
Unless
the money
Butler
aspect doesn't work.
Unless Butler accepts less.
He would have to take so much less.
Yeah.
Because then you're talking luxury tax, and we were talking, pretty sure it's like dollar for dollar, whatever it is. It's not going to work. I mean, DeMarcus Cousins, that's why it works with Golden State, because his deal is a 1-year deal for next to nothing, like $10 million, whatever it is.
You know when Redick's contract up?
I think he's still on the 1-year deals. I think it was a little bit less this year. I'm not sure if he signed a 2-year deal. That could be.
Because he's a big piece, too. JJ Redick's averaging 18 points per game.
I mean,
That's
these
a
are all
career
guys.
high.
And we're saying Ben Simmons is going to be up for a contract soon.
Right.
These are all factors you need to consider. We just said 3 guys that are max contract guys, not factoring in Jimmy Butler or JJ Redick or anybody else. That's a problem. So
right.
I see no scenario where Jimmy Butler and Tobias Harris are on the team next year.
Where, together you mean?
Right.
Right.
So I think the onus is going to be on Tobias Harris. And I think they let Butler go. But once they sign Harris, they got this nice big 3. I think then they can kind of lure a Jimmy Butler type to come join the team.
Right.
And who knows who that is at that point. It's going to be Jimmy Butler plus 3 years, whoever that player is. A guy who can score near the end of his career and not going to command a ton of money. He's going to take like a DeMarcus Cousins like contract with a contender, 5 mil, 10 mil, whatever it is,
Right.
to win.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. I'm not a fan of the thought of Jimmy Butler leaving the Sixers. He's got such a huge effect on defense, in my opinion, especially late in games, where he just sticks on people. And, he's causing, steals, rebounds, blocks, whatever it is, he's doing it.
But he can't hit threes.
He can and he can't. Yeah, I mean,
And he's getting older,
He's at 35% from threes.
which doesn't really get it done
No,
right now in the NBA.
Embiid is surprising, 29% for threes. I mean,
Well, that's one of the
big man. He does good, man.
That's been a knock on him
Yeah,
this year because it should be better. They like him taking those shots this year, not so much. They don't love him taking those shots, but that's what they banked on.
right.
They want him on the outside doing it. If he can hit it, he hasn't been hitting it.
One more thing, real quick. There's been a thing going on. Ben Simmons is shooting with his left hand or right hand, or what's going on there?
Is that a real thing, or was it one clip?
It was one clip, but he did it and he made it, and I guess he doesn't make jumpers very often, so it's worth talking about.
But it was it was a glorified layup.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas, so go on YouTube, whatever it is.
Let me ask you this: can you give Ben Simmons a max contract if he doesn't have a jump shot, like in any capacity?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you do that if you're, the Milwaukee Bucks. If you're a team that's not like this on his team right now, the 76ers, yes, you give him the max contract. This is his team. You're built around him for better or worse. To let him go, you're starting from scratch. So yeah, you build around that, and wow, it really does seem now more than ever you can just build a jump shot. I mean, the way it's almost like technology. Like you could put him in a program to shoot these things, like shoot threes and throw.
He's got to do it. Whatever you're talking about, he's got to do it.
It's like you could throw money at the problem, and it just really seems like he'll come out of it and be able to shoot a 3-pointer.
Because if Ben Simmons could start shooting the ball, things would be a lot. The dynamic would change 100%.
He's still insanely young. How many college guys have no jump shot at all whatsoever and come out of it just shooting the lights out? I know Kyle Lowry. Yeah, I mean, all these guys had no jump shot in college, and then boom, they're hitting threes. But I mean, everybody's hitting threes now.
That's what needs
Joel
to happen.
Embiid wasn't playing basketball like 10 years ago.
Right.
And last year he probably shot 35% from three? Like a 7-foot guy. Like anybody can do it. It can be taught.
Right.
He's still great without it.
Right.
So it could be an added dimension to his game. You want to see it? It'd be great. They don't need it, but we need him. And I hate saying we because we're supposed to be.
Hey,
impartial.
this is the Homer hour.
Yeah, this is the
this is the Homer special.
The Homer special. But yeah, the 76ers need him.
Yeah.
He's got to be a max contract guy. And this team needs him to be that max contract guy to move forward. Without him, it doesn't really work.
Right.
Got Embiid, maybe Harris, and what? It's weird.
Right.
Needs Ben Simmons. They'll get it done. Ben Simmons is not going anywhere long term. They're fine.
CJ.
Yes.
Rapid fire.
Achoo!
King Kong Bundy dead at 61.
Still not entirely sure who he is, but I'm pretty sure either
Sounds
a
like a
WWE wrestler
He was a
or a
wrestler.
serial killer.
He was the one. He always fought with Hogan back in the day.
Okay. Yeah.
He was a big guy, and
I think it was
I'm curious to see how he died because he's not one of those steroid guys. He's just a big guy.
Rest in peace.
Johnny Manziel hits football field after CFL shows off his arm.
so like a high school football field. Where's he playing?
Maybe a college one. There's palm trees around too.
Still
so it's
holding on by a thread.
Yeah.
he's got no chance in the NFL.
He's done. The only thing that he could hope for is the XFL, or I haven't watched or heard much about the
He can't the
AFL
XFL
or whatever.
He's gotten in trouble.
Ah, right. So
No criminal records.
Plus, he can't play in the NFL because of the collusion thing. They don't like white quarterbacks, so he's not going to play there.
it's crazy.
Wait, did I get that right?
No,
No,
it's okay.
I'm confused, but I'm pretty sure he can't play in the NFL.
He will never play in the NFL again, and I don't see him playing professional football. I mean, it's just not. It's not in the works.
Mike Trout signed rookie card fetches $186,000 at auction.
Who's
Mike Trout.
Mike Trout. How much?
$186,000.
Jesus Christ!
So this is like those weird things because, like, growing up, I was a big baseball card collector, and I always learned like if somebody signs a card, it devalues the card. Here's the thing with collectibles now, there's no rules. It's all about basically scarcity, and the rarity of the thing. So this is probably a card in the most perfect condition it can be, signed and verified to make to put it over the top. So get a card that probably only one of 10 exists, and then signed and verified, making it one of one, and then boom, it's worth all this money. And all I learned growing up is if you have your favorite player sign a card, it's worth half as much. And it never made sense to me, but yeah, that's why in our day, nobody knew a goddamn thing. Social media makes everything clear. Once you throw things out and everything becomes known, no, it makes a signed card would obviously be worth more, right?
Yeah, as long as you can prove that it's there, it's them.
It also depends
And
on
now
who it
more
is
than-
signing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now more than ever, you can prove it's them just pulling out your damn phone and taking a picture.
Right. True. Yep. Absolutely.
It's so weird.
Steve Harvey, Will Smith as Serena's dad. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with it.
Oh, did you hear about the controversy here?
There's controversy?
You won't believe it.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
I'm so curious to
There
hear
is
what
controversy on controversy. I pull up Twitter the other day, and seriously, the top story on Twitter is, so apparently, I don't know how this works, but it's a colorism thing where Will Smith is apparently not dark enough. He's not black enough to play the dad. There are people literally very upset saying, you should pick someone that represents. This blows my mind.
That blows my mind.
This is we're getting upset for the sake of getting upset.
Well, I would be curious how many people. You said that was like the top thing?
This was the top story. Twitter made me click on this.
Wow.
It was.
I think
on
it would be the top
thing.
because there's going to be people both ways.
Yeah.
And you know what? I kind of understand because there's a lot of people that when you announce someone's playing somebody, they go, that person doesn't look like them at all for whatever reason.
Right.
So, because when you're doing something based on a real person, they want it to look like the real person.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, you look at what's his name, who played Freddie Mercury. He pulled it off, blah, blah, blah.
He wasn't tall enough.
I don't really know well enough what their dad looks like to make a judgment call on that, but
I mean,
I was surprised to
you
hear
need
the casting.
star power to get a movie like this
Oh,
done.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you want someone that looks exactly like the guy that nobody's ever heard of, cool. Guess what? The movie doesn't get made. So what do you want?
One of the things, I know this is supposed to be rapid fire, but damn it, what was the name of that movie with Scarlett Johansson?
I was just thinking of that, yeah.
Shit.
Where she was playing a
Ghost in the Shell.
disabled person.
Ghost in the Shell.
Oh, no,
No.
right.
Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like based on like an anime, and everybody was mad, and it takes place like definitely looks like it was like Japan, which it does take place in Japan, I believe. But like everybody's mad because she's not Japanese, and then like you watch the movie, and it's literally a Japanese ghost inside of a machine that looks like a white person. Like, calm down, just watch the movie, relax.
Ricky Williams on Robert Kraft scandal. Sometimes it's just better to pay.
Pay what? I guess just pay whatever you
Wait,
got to pay. What is
do
he
you
going
mean
to do?
it's just better to pay? What does that mean?
He's talking about getting actual, like a high.
Oh, I
Right.
thought you were talking about fines or something.
This is
No.
what I hate. It's the first thing everyone. You're a billionaire. Why aren't you?
Why are
paying
you
someone-
spending more than $360 for a threesome?
Let me tell you something.
Why do you assume billionaires don't eat Big Macs? Like, why does everything have to be?
Because Warren Buffett said he doesn't. He just
You
gets
eat-
the breakfast sandwich.
Does Robert Kraft eat lobster tails for lunch every day? Does he swim in an Olympic-sized swimming pool? Like,
But if you're on that caliber of celebrity, you have to.
Let me say something.
You
I
have
was
to
just
pay
in-
for
you live your
to
life.
be discreet.
I was just in Vegas this past weekend, right? And during the day, you see these billboards, and it's go do this, go do that, go see this show, Lady Gaga, Penn and Teller, whoever, right? And as soon as the sun goes down, I see these trucks with the mobile billboards. Call this phone number. We'll send girls to your room. Like, whatever you want. Call this number. Girls, naked girls, they'll come to you. And it's legal. It's legal there. You can do whatever you want, blah, 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 blah. So, like, my whole thing with Robert Kraft is that
in Vegas,
it's
legal.
correct.
He could have flown to
In
Vegas.
My whole thing with
Come
Robert
on.
Kraft. Hold on. My
Right.
whole thing with Robert Kraft is I don't give a shit what he was doing. As long as he wasn't personally importing and trafficking humans,
Which he clearly wasn't.
he clearly wasn't.
I don't know. He has a
Okay.
private plane. This is still up for
Slave.
debate.
Okay, he clearly wasn't. Right.
Right.
I said last episode he's a scumbag. I said that because over 3/4% of the reason why is because I just hate the Patriots. Right. I don't give a shit what Robert
Right.
Kraft is doing. But at the same time, it's illegal. What he did was wrong to some capacity, and that's all there is to it. If he wanted to do it, the correct way, or at least the legal way, fucking fly to Vegas. Fly to Vegas. Because I'm telling you, as soon as the sun goes down, you'll find a phone number to fucking get it done. Get it done in a legal capacity.
But when you're rich, that's the biggest inconvenience. Time is money.
But you're at the point where
You go out there and
You're
go
not gonna
catch a
fly
Lady
to
Gaga
Vegas.
show.
yeah, you're not really doing anything. You're just making money at that point.
Go to
Plus, just-
Vegas. Why
All right.
wouldn't he go to Vegas?
Jose Canseco, Tim Tebow's swing sucks. Let me fix you.
Dude, if I've been waiting for Tim Tebow to break through. And I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, he had a decent year last year.
That's what I'm saying.
We were talking-
I'm waiting for him to be in the
So we
majors.
were talking
like the big.
before the show. Michael Jordan talking about like how long he was out of basketball. He had, if you look at his stats, the 1 year he played in minor league baseball, not good. But if you look at the video, his swing when he started, terrible. Towards the end, if you talk to coaches, towards the end, he was coming along. There's some video out there that exists. He might have made himself into an actual decent Major League Baseball player. He was the greatest athlete in the world. He would have made it work. He still stole like 26 bases in whatever, like however long the season he played. He had the raw ability. He batted like 220, whatever it was. But he was coming along. This is his first year in Major League, in minor league baseball, AA, pretty high up there.
Yeah. Oh,
he
yeah.
would have been able to pull it off. I
What
think.
is this? Is this Tebow's second year?
Tebow, he batted like 275 or something last year. Pretty
Yeah.
damn respectable.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, what is it all for? He's over 30 years old at this point. I don't know what it means long term. I think
Right.
his goal is just to make it to the big leagues. But
Right.
he's actually
He wants a $500 million contract.
he actually is a good minor league baseball player. He is. Period.
Do you think he'll make it to the big leagues?
I think he has to because they're gonna reward his effort. They're just, I mean, even if it's just like a consolation,
Right.
they're
I
going to.
He might even just make it to be a spectacle to help a team out.
But it's incredibly
I thought.
impressive what he's done to this point.
I agree.
Because I mean, hey, like AA baseball, AAA baseball, that's like serious baseball. And to be
Right.
able to bat like 270 plus, especially now when like pitching is so dominant, he's very impressive. And there's a chance, an outside chance, that he could be on a team for an entire year. He could be on the Mets for an entire year and actually help that team. He's too old to help any team long term. But for 1 year, 2 years, he
Yeah.
might get there.
Donald Trump, another fast food buffet for college football champs.
I saw that. Whatever. I don't even. It's all good.
Yeah, it just seems like, yeah, all right, cool. It worked the first time. Go for it. Sweet.
San Francisco Giants CEO, physical altercation with wife.
Oh, man. I'm going to get in trouble here.
Who
This is one of it's the weirdest video
The
on
San
the
Francisco
planet.
Giants. I mean,
Oh, have you not seen this video?
I
Taylor?
haven't seen it. No.
Oh, wow. This is one of those videos you literally see what you want to see. It's crazy. I have watched, and just like me being me, I try to see every side of the argument I possibly can.
Oh,
I've seen
wait. Is this the
Adam-
girl that like screamed and like he pushed her off the chair?
Right.
yeah, and took the coffee.
Right. Pushed her off the chair. is
Well,
what
like
you say.
what? Like
But it's like,
yeah.
but what I see with the video, he's just trying to get his phone, and she falls off the chair. At no point
Yeah.
does he.
He doesn't know. He didn't like throw her off or like
At one
anything
point,
like that.
him actually trying to get the chair is what softens her falling to the ground because he's holding up her arm, getting the phone. So her fall is actually softened by him holding her up by that hand.
Right.
She's freaking out. Like, this kind of thing happens in relationships all the time. Maybe not healthy relationships. It's not punching. It's not
Yeah, he didn't
altercation.
He didn't.
He's
hit her.
just trying to get his phone from a person.
At least not
it's
in
just
this-
insane.
At least not in this video. I saw the video, and the funny thing about it is that if we're not hearing much more about it, chances are this girl's going to get paid just to like shut up about it.
Yeah, I've seen 3 different versions of the video, and there's a lot of missing middle part of it. So I want to see a complete uncut video.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which
but
no
the
one's
uncut
produced.
video is not going to.
Well, I just want to see it for my own benefit of because all the videos go from
Right.
him, going and pushing her down, grabbing the phone, whatever, and then a couple other things, and then him walking away. There's a cut in the middle that doesn't show maybe a couple minutes, maybe 30 seconds, maybe 10 seconds in between, but I still want to see an uncut video.
Right.
well, we're running out of time. Before we do that,
I got one more.
one more, and we got to do go to the week.
All
and wrap
right.
it up.
Chuck Todd loses his mind over Bryce Harper. Enjoy 3rd place.
I don't know who Chuck Todd is, but I know that there's
Meet
no,
the press.
Okay, there's no
right.
no Philadelphia representation on ESPN. At least on like the shows that I watch, which is I love Around the Horn. Jackie and I watch it all the time. But they have
Kevin Nagani, is that his name? There's some guys.
I rarely see anybody, but at least on like I said those shows. But like they have Washington affiliates there. Kevin Blackistone is one. I forget the other guy's name. But they were all so salty this week. So salty on there. He should have re-signed with the Nationals. Da, 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 da. They got a better team. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them. Fuck them.
No, you're exactly right.
Fuck them.
And this like third. First of all, stay in your lane. Meet the press. 3rd place. Please. 3rd place sounds like such sour grapes.
Sour.
That's his ratings, though, in all the Sunday morning talk shows. So
Boo.
he just kind of went with one.
Wow. Go to the week time. The greatest of all time.
Of the week.
I already said it earlier. Tobias Harris is mine. My go to the week. Like I said, 42% from the 3-point line. He's been so clutch this past week. Just watching him play, like we were saying, just so smooth. Great addition to the Philadelphia 76ers. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how the rest of the season shakes up and how they do in the playoffs. Because the squad that they have right now, if they can figure out how to play together healthy, I think that they can make it pretty far. Certainly further than they did last year. And I agree with the owner, who I forget what his name is, when he said that it would be a severe disappointment. I'm paraphrasing. If they got out of the playoffs early, I agree 100%. With the talent that they have right now, we should make it out pretty far.
So I had every intention of my go to the week being a baseball reporter, national or local, in regards to the Phillies signing Bryce Harper, holding back from throwing out false rumors and all that stuff. But the fact is, they don't exist. Every single reporter threw out bullshit, and it's the nature of the business. I get it. You're under pressure to throw out bullshit. You're hearing bullshit. You report it. It's your job. You're being told it's true. Fine. But you're all complicit in the bullshit that it drives us crazy as fans. Because all we're hearing is just lies. It turns out to be lies.
Ratings.
And it comes off as reporting. And it's being reported as facts as they hear it. But no, you're being told a lie and you report the lie as a fact. So no reporter can be my go to the week. The only one I can think of is Matt Klentak, the GM that got the job done. That didn't talk during this whole process about what he was going to do, what his intentions were. He just went out there and he signed Bryce Harper, got the job done. And at the end of the day, when it was done, we heard from him. He told him what he did, what his intentions were. Facts were facts. Bryce Harper signed on the dotted line. It was done. Easy. Matt Klentak got the job done. Cool. Reporters, you don't suck, but
Fuck 'em.
Be better in general. This is why I don't like that. I like writing books after the fact because it's facts.
Yeah.
I don't have to go on Twitter and say what I just heard. Hey, I just heard from so-and-so. By the way, an anonymous source told me this is true. Which your anonymous source, which might not be a real person, told you something true, which might not be true. What the fuck is that?
I told you that in
I
confidence.
don't love to curse on this thing, but what the fuck is that? I hate 2019 so much. I need a beer.
It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. You know what? It is going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.
I feel good.
Good. Well, we're going to get out of here and watch the rest of the Sixers game. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. CJ, fantastic.
Thank you. Might be Bruce. I have something to talk to you guys about. Taylor's drinking your craft beers, and I will send that to you in a text message, everything that just happened.
Kevin Reevy, fantastic as always, man.
Love you guys.
Again, if you're only listening to one show on the Might Be News Network, check them all out, or at least explore, because there's so many of them. It's been a fantastic 25 weeks here on the first season of the Might Be News Network. We only got a couple more left before we take a little break and go into season 2 of the Might Be News Network. Please, mbnnetwork.com. Just check out a show. Just put them on. Tell your friends about it if you like it. I'm Taylor Cooper. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.